The way I want to look at this is to go through what their listing shows, and then we can go through the photos that I took when I got in there with my realtor. As soon as it went pending, I'm like, realtor, I need to get in there. I need to see what's going on. This could be a really important one that helps determine the price point that we put my house back on the market for. So we're going to go through all of their listing photos, and I'm going to show you what I can see in the listing photos, and then we'll go through the photos that I actually took while I was there. And if you'll pardon the pun, it shows a very different picture. We look here and it's tough to tell, but with this one, there's no grass here. And from this photo, it could look like it's dirt, or it could just look like it's frozen grass with some street dirt or sidewalk gravel or something like that on it. Nothing too bad there. They did some look at us be architectural here, and it's like, okay, well, whatever. The number's in kind of a funny spot, but that's because they didn't want to move a window, and again, that's a bit of a whatever design choice thing. So you go in and there's a front entry. Well, this isn't front entry, this is front living room. Okay, that's a kitchen, basically ends here, so that's a fairly small kitchen. And then they've got this horrible, you always see your coats and everything hanging up here if that's where you want to hang them. And here we have what looks like it could be a front closet, and another view of how small the kitchen is, and these ugly rails. The layout itself isn't awful. The choices they made with the layout are, and it gets worse. If we start to look at the kitchen in a little bit closer detail, you'll see, for one, someone went absolutely bonkers with the HDR. Like, this does not look like it's part of the same existence. It actually was there, but it just like, this is too much HDR. But there's no microwave. Okay, so the microwave might be under the counter over here. We'll wait till we get around the side to see. They got an oven. Okay. Oh, there is no microwave. We got cabinets, cabinets, cabinets. So where do you put the microwave? There's not enough room here. There's not enough room here. The only place to put a microwave is here. And that's taking up like actually a significant percentage of your overall counter space. Don't love that. No microwave is bad times. The other thing I notice here is it's got piano hinges in the little corner cabinet. And as soon as I see piano hinges, I start thinking, oh man, someone's trying to save a buck. And it appears also that there is no under cabinet lighting. So I guess there's that. Realtor hated this this fixture, but you know, whatever. Fixture's a fixture, it can be switched. Bedroom has what's going on with brown here. That's some bad HDR photography, but it was small. That was a small bedroom. And that was the master bedroom, but it's not a good size. Okay, so we're in the master bathroom. I noticed two things right off the bat when I saw this picture. The first thing I noticed is there's a lovely little wire going to a plug for this mirror here. They didn't hardwire that. They couldn't hardwire that. They didn't want to buy one that they could hardwire, so we got this. If you want to have your light turned on ever, you got to have that little brick plugged in and this cable dangling. The other thing I noticed is the sink is off center. And that's weird because it's like if I'm working at my computer monitor, but I'm standing over here, like, I'm trying to do my face stuff, but I have to, it's a weird thing. I think they did it because they're probably thinking that they could get more counter space usable in one spot. And I can sort of understand that, but it's weird. And it's more weird in person. This is probably the same grade of shower pan that I put in my basement bathroom, and they put that in their master bathroom. And this is their closet. So they put little cubbies in on this side. They didn't put it in on this side. Realtor was offended by that, but I think that they were trying to say, well, this is the girl's side, and that's where her dresses go. Now, this space here is the same on the other side, and you can kind of get an idea of how thin this is, which means that the amount of dress space hanging you have here is literally like this. Like, have fun putting your 3 dresses in there. There's a conspicuous absence of somewhere to store your toilet paper. There's no toilet paper roll holder, and there's no towel rack. And this is a thing we start to see throughout the other bathroom. There might be 2 bathrooms, there might only be 1, I don't remember. But there's no toilet paper holder and no towel rack anywhere in the whole house. So here we have again, no towel rack, no toilet paper holder. I actually took a picture here to show that there is no toilet paper holder. This sink is at least over top of the center of the one cabinet. So that's something. The tile work was atrocious too. It was bad. And then we're into the basement. This is a weird layout, but there it is. That's kind of your basement living space. That's it. Just those two. Weird little wet bar. So they're thinking that you're going to have a TV up here and you're going to have an electric fireplace on and you're going to have seating around this way. And like, that's going to be a lovely amount of wasted space over here. And then another lovely amount of wasted space over here. And it's going to be really awkward to get to the bedrooms. Or they're just not thinking at all, which is totally a possibility. Again, so we have 3 bathrooms here, no toilet paper holder, no towel racks in any of them. And the towel work is horrible. Bedrooms are not great. Not horrible, nothing special. Backyard. The backyard seems like it's a good size. There's a little bit of photo stretchery going on here. But again, hard to tell in this photo, but this is all dirt. This is all dirt. And this dirt ended up being basically like road crushed gravel that when they installed this little bit of patio here and the sidewalk in the front, they're just toss dirt and rocks everywhere. And like, that's how we're gonna deal with the landscaping. So there's no grass on the property at all. And because of what they put down on the yards, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to grow grass there. Like you can put sod down and it'll die, guaranteed. So then they have this garage with this little micro mini patio, none special, none special. And that's it, fully renovated. Perfect interior layout. 4 bedrooms with large master. How big did they say? And also, you're not allowed to call it a master bedroom anymore. It's a primary bedroom, and the real estate board in town will actually fine you if they find out that you're calling it a master bedroom. So they claim that that is 12 feet by 16 feet. Gorgeous ensuite. Massive backyard, amazing price, beautiful, renovated, blah, blah, blah. One of the nicest and quiet streets. It is a good street. Oversized rain shower and a walk-in closet, second bedroom, and a lavish bathroom, second bathroom, complete this level. So yeah, it's just like blah, 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 blah. Theirs is 1052 square feet. Mine is 1300 square feet. That's kind of what they got there. So weird about the no microwave, weird about the no toilet paper holders and no towel racks. That closet is unfortunate. The master bathroom sinks are unfortunate, but none of it's like, oh my goodness, run away. Why am I making this video? And then we can get to the why am I making this video here. All of that stuff in the listing was just the stuff you could see in the listing. What we're looking at now is when I actually got there and actually saw it in person, and these were the things I noticed. So I hadn't even noticed from the listing when I was first glancing at it before I got out there that it had no grass. Part of that was because of how much snow that it had, and part of that was because sometimes I just don't care that much about grass. But when you get here, this is actually like road crushed gravel. You're gonna have a heck of a time trying to grow anything on this. It's just not good. This is kind of the quality of the concrete all the way through the steps. I only took one picture of it because like how many times do I need to show that this is bad work? I can just show that this particular thing, the steps, had bad work done. Now this one was an interesting one. This is a hose bib on the front of the house, and if you know about Canada and you know about hose bibs, you know that this is not an approved hose bib, period. You can't use this as a hose bib. What you have to use in Canada is one of these guys. It has a stop all the way back here so that when winter comes along, you can close this knob and then you can open this and let all of the extra water drain out of here, and then everything back from there is actually on the interior, the warm side of the house, so it can't freeze. The one that they have here, the valve is right in here, so you're never going to be able to drain that properly, and it's going to freeze and it's going to burst in the winter probably. So that was like the first big, oh, there's a problem here that I noticed. Someone had commented earlier they didn't like this work on the side here, this brown stuff. It was pretty ugly. So when I got there, I noticed, hey, there's a giant scratch along this, and it's right beside the cheapest possible doorbell you can buy anywhere. Aside from this being the absolute cheapest possible doorbell you can buy, they didn't actually screw it into anything. It's just hanging there by the wires. Waiting for my realtor, he was actually on time. I got there a bit early, which was nice because he's usually a bit late on things, but he's a busy guy. He's got a family. I don't blame him too much. I just like to give him crap about it once in a while. This is one of the basement window wells where they're just dumping excess concrete and a log. Why not? Because that's where logs go. Too cheap to haul the log away? It just sort of gives you an idea of what you can expect for the rest. Okay, so we have just gotten in the front door and I look to the right to the closet. Lovely, lovely premium wire rack here. It said with maximum sarcasm, this is disgusting and no one should put this in anything over like a very beginner starter home. But this light switch In the middle of the back of the closet is the light switch for the soffit lights. Now, if we look over here, we can sort of see where they had a spot for light switches here, but they just decided that that's where that one would go. Lots of paint smear up onto the ceiling. General, nasty. Piano hinge here. I think these are disgusting. Just wanted to get a close-up of it. So now we get into the nitty-gritty of it, and here, this isn't me being bad at holding my camera. You can tell because like this goes the other way. This is actually back sloped. And they're like, well, we don't know how to cut a piece to length, so we're gonna cut 2 pieces and then try to join it up later, I guess. I don't know, maybe, lol, question mark. This is sloped improperly, coming back towards the drain. And this, which is a dishwasher attachment bout, spigot, whatever the proper term for this is, someone actually cut it off because they're like, we're gonna install a dishwasher. And then they just decided to tape over it. And so I got a close-up shot of that being taped over. I was asking Realtor what brand of dishwasher this was because there was no label on the front. So he pulls it open and discovers that it's not attached. I'm like, have you ever heard of Blomberg? And he's like, whatever. So dishwasher not attached. He pulls it out a little bit and we keep looking in the cabinets and we could not find a drain for this. So because it's already disconnected, like there was nothing attached to it, he keeps pulling it out, pulling it out, pulling it out. I'm like, oh, it's not hooked up. He pulls it out more and it turns out that there is no water supply and no drain. And because the basement's already finished, you can't put that in now. We actually went down to the mechanical room when we're trying to find where these wires were coming up because a 14.2 and a 12.2 coming up in one spot is going to be pretty easy to see. Couldn't find it. Probably it's either so buried beneath all the other piping and stuff and the other mechanicals, the HVAC, that you'll never be able to get to it, or it's actually extended out beyond the mechanical room and now is just into the basement ceiling. If we go and we look at the listing, dishwasher. Appliances include refrigerator, dishwasher, stove, hood fan, and garage door opener. So they'll give you a dishwasher. You just won't ever be able to use it. You cannot connect that to the sink drain because the dishwasher is over here and the sink is over here. So there's no way to get plumbing into here without busting up the basement ceiling. So second bathroom upstairs, they didn't bother to put the overflow cover on. And this was where I was getting a picture showing that, yep, there is no toilet paper holder. Like in my pictures for my house, you wouldn't see it because it's attached to the side of the vanity. And in their listing here as well for this bathroom, you wouldn't be able to see that. So I'm just like, all right, let's get a photo. Let's show that there actually isn't nowhere to hang toilet paper. Nowhere. Here's Realtor, here's me, and here is how offset that sink is in the master bathroom. And this lovely power brick and cable. Is this not the weirdest master bathroom vanity you've ever seen? If you've ever seen a weirder one, feel free to send me pictures, put them in the Discord, put them in the comments, whatever. It's weird. And I did want to show that the tile work was just awful. It was all sorts of lippage and uneven and big gaps and tiny gaps, and just they did a bad job. Again, here's that tiny little dress space, like this big, for enough for 3 dresses, maybe 4 in there. One of the hallmarks of the cheapest, laziest possible house flippers is not to put the little buttons in these after they've installed the door. They actually come with the door. Every door that sells with these glass window inserts have little plastic buttons that you can go and put in to fill those holes. And when they don't do that, how cheap can you be? And also, they need a longer striker plate, or to have not put this in, their trim is too close to that strike plate and it's too deep. They're using like 5/8 trim there, I bet. Not a big deal, but it looks ugly. Here's a big corner they cut. Who knows what's missing? Yeah, we are missing a handrail. There's no handrail here. If anyone does get nudged and they start to take a tumble down the stairs, there's no stopping it. There's nothing to grab onto. The stairs are too narrow, and that gets into why is this here. This was something I didn't notice. This is something the realtor noticed. This is exterior foundation wall, and it's got stucco. Exterior stucco on the interior of the foundation. There's no framing, there's no insulation, there's no vapor barrier, there's nothing to make it look pretty other than stucco on the foundation. And they did that because they couldn't find a way to bring the wall up here without it becoming too narrow. And then we got typical like garbage quality finishes here. More basement foundation wall with no insulation, no nothing on it. More basement foundation wall with no insulation, no nothing on it. Rim joist with no insulation. And boy, does that get better in a minute here. Abandoned gas line here, just kind of left open. This, you would have to check your furnace manual, and I didn't really care that much, but most furnaces, most high efficiency furnaces want fresh air from outside, not fresh air from inside the house. This is exhaust, but this should be going to outside. More lovely tile work here. And then realtor noticed this, and he actually reached up and he stuck his hand in behind. We see in this photo that the electrician that they hired to put up this new panel, because homeowners, regardless, no matter how much of a scumball you want to be about it, they can't put their own panels in. You can't get the meter to get disconnected. You can't get the power disconnected. You can't upgrade your service. You have to have an electrician to do it. The electrician comes in, he says, I need something to mount to, so he puts up the OSB. Wood can't touch concrete, so he puts vapor barrier in behind. This is the only spot in the whole basement that has vapor barrier. Typically, you would want to have this built out a little bit more so that you can get insulation in behind and everything stays nice and warm and yada yada yada. That electrician didn't care that much. He did his bare minimum and he's like, hey, you guys deal with it, whatever. And we go back to look in here. Realtor noticed, yeah, there's no insulation back here, because he actually put his hand in behind and he tried to do a little bit of a reach around and there was no insulation in this wall. There's also no vapor barrier, which would go here. In this town, they want vapor barrier on the warm side of the wall, which means you've got your foundation, then your insulation, then your vapor barrier, then your drywall, then your paint, and then more paint, and then more paint, depending on your decorating habits. So there's no vapor barrier here. And then we go back and we look over here. Look what's not there as well. There's no vapor barrier. And we didn't check this side to see if there was no insulation, but I mean, if they're not going to bother to insulate this side of the wall, why would they bother to insulate that side of the wall? Oh yeah. Now we're into the basement bedrooms. They did provide a closet rod, but there's no shelf in both the basement bedrooms. So you get a closet rod that's so close up that you're going to barely be able to squeeze. Like, you won't be able to go in, over, and then down. You're going to have to like tilt your coat hanger back and catch it and then rotate it in if you want to put a shelf in there, because of how high up that is. If an inspector doesn't catch this stuff, sucks to be the buyer. So more pictures of the backyard. It's just nothing but rocks. So we're back in the mechanical room here. This again is the exhaust from the furnace, and this is daylight. So someone cut like a 4-inch hole and ran a 2-inch pipe through it, and they didn't do anything to seal that on the outside. Realtor and I were so flabbergasted by how bad this was. We wanted to see if there was any way to salvage it. So we were looking for the 2 cables that were coming up in behind the dishwasher, the 14-2 and the 12-2, the white and the yellow. And this is how tight it was in there. And there's no 14-2 going along here. So as far back as we could see, we couldn't see a 14-2 cable going there. And then the last photo was just like some cat was tromping along over top of the concrete while it was still drying. It's cute if it's your cat. It's pretty nasty otherwise. That is what I got to see in this house. Gaping holes in the side of the building, no insulation, stucco on interior foundational walls, nothing on, no handrail, weird bathroom vanities, no covers on tubs, no toilet paper holders, no way to hook up the dishwasher, back sloping on the plumbing that is there, piano hinges. So it got worse. I had a righteous nerd rage on about this. Realtors are not allowed to lie if they know that there's something wrong with the house. If there is a material defect with the house, they are required to disclose it. Me, personally, I would consider not having any plumbing to your dishwasher and having no way to get plumbing to your dishwasher as a material defect. Usually when something has gone pending, it says who the buyer's realtor is. And so I was going to get my realtor to call them and say like, hey, there's some big problems with this house that if the home inspection doesn't show it, you should be aware of. Couldn't find them. I'm going to be making sure that when it does go sold, because then it will absolutely be listed with who the buyer's realtor is, I'll call them then and say, hey, did you guys catch these things? Did you know about these things? If not, they should have disclosed it, and you have grounds to sue if you want to, because you're in for a world of hurt trying to get that dishwasher installed properly. So he couldn't find the buyer's realtor, so he calls the listing realtor. So my realtor says to the seller's realtor, hey, we noticed the dishwasher doesn't turn on, or something like that. And with no pause, seller's realtor says, oh yeah, it just has to be connected. And the fact that there was absolutely no pause, there's no hesitation, there's no, oh man, that's weird, says that this guy knows that the dishwasher isn't connected, and I'm willing to bet money that he also knows that it can't be connected. This is one of the ones that I'm going to be chasing down as it goes through the process. I'm going to be calling the city about it because in my town, it is public knowledge as to whether or not a property has had permits pulled and what the status of them is. So if I go and I take the address and I plonk it in here and we go okay, we can find out when it was built, 1958. And we can find its building permit history. So we see down here that a residential improvement permit is issued. Permit issued on January 12th. The permit is issued. It has not been inspected. They got a permit 2023 January 3rd for electrical, and they got a permit January 5th for plumbing. Neither of those have been inspected, and that's that. So this is a house that went up at 700, went pending the next day. I hope this video is helpful. I hope it shows people what you can be looking for. I hope that some of the really obvious indicators like the missing buttons in the doors and the piano hinges in the cabinets and can be a good starting indicator of maybe turning on some red flags, maybe turning on some alarm bells. I hope you're entertained. I hope you're educated. I hope you get back to work. Hey, there we go. Now I can have some YouTube to edit.